Dear Starseeds on Gaia, there is a wound that lives in silence. It hides beneath your skin, woven into the very fabric of your DNA, passed down through generations like a whispered secret nobody wanted you to hear. This wound does not announce itself with fanfare. It masquerades as your personality, your preferences, your patterns in love. You think these choices are yours alone, but what I am about to reveal will shatter that illusion completely. 93% of the relationship struggles you face, the inexplicable fears that grip you in the night, the voice that tells you that you are not enough, these do not originate with you. They are echoes of a primordial separation, and the key to your liberation has been hidden in plain sight since the moment you took your first breath. Something extraordinary happens when a soul chooses incarnation on Earth. Before you descended into form, you selected not just your parents, but the precise configuration of wounds, traumas, and unresolved karma that would become your greatest teachers. The relationship with the one who carried you in her womb for 9 months is not coincidental. It is the sacred blueprint for every connection you will ever form, every boundary you will struggle to set, every time you have felt invisible in your own life. This is the mother wound, and it is far more complex than the simplified psychology your world has offered you. Let me speak plainly about what your medical institutions are only beginning to understand. In 2013, researchers took mice and conditioned them to fear the scent of cherry blossoms through electric shocks. Then they separated the fathers from the mothers entirely. No contact, no shared environment, and artificially inseminated the females. The offspring, who had never encountered that scent, who had never experienced trauma, arrived in the world already afraid of cherry blossoms. The fear had transferred through the sperm itself, rewriting the genetic code. Your scientists called this epigenetic inheritance, but we in the Galactic Federation have known this truth for eons. The traumas your grandmother experienced during war, the abandonment your great-grandfather suffered as a child, the silenced voice of your ancestral mothers, all of this lives in you now, firing in your nervous system as if these events happened to you personally. But here's where it becomes truly fascinating, and where your quantum physicists are finally catching up to cosmic law. 3 scientists won your Nobel Prize in 2023 for proving something we have always known. Entanglement is not limited by space or time. Take 2 particles that have never met. Place them on opposite sides of your universe. Now bring each of them into contact with a 3rd particle. Just briefly, just a touch. Those 2 particles that never encountered each other directly are now entangled forever. What happens to one instantaneously affects the other, regardless of distance. Do you understand what this means for your ancestral line? You never met your grandmother who died in childbirth. You never knew your grandfather who fought in wars that ended before you were born. Yet they touched your mother, they touched your father, and your parents touched you. Through this quantum entanglement, their unresolved grief, their survival mechanisms, their coded instructions for navigating a dangerous world, all of this transferred to you, not as metaphor, but as measurable, scientific reality. When your grandmother's heart broke, when she learned to silence her needs to survive, when she discovered that speaking her truth brought punishment, her cells remembered, her DNA adapted, and then she passed this adaptation to your mother, who passed it to you, encoded in the architecture of your being. During my second near-death experience, though there is no death, only transition, I was shown something that changed everything I understood about healing. I witnessed a grid of silver light surrounding your earth, glittering like a fishnet made of stars. At each intersection point, a node pulsed with consciousness. I was told directly, these are not merely energetic connection points. These nodes are souls. Every being on Earth is a point of light on this grid, and what occurs at one node sends ripples through the entire network. This is not spiritual poetry. This is the fundamental architecture of your reality, what ancient wisdom traditions called Indra's net, a cosmic web where each of you contains a reflection of all others, and all others are reflected in you. What the Astasar command wants you to comprehend is this. When you heal yourself, you do not heal in isolation. A woman resolves her mother wound after a decade of estrangement, completing deep ancestral work to understand why she felt unseen in every relationship. Within 2 weeks, her mother, who knows nothing of this inner journey, reaches out to reconnect. The daughter changed nothing external. She manipulated no one. She simply shifted the frequency at which her node vibrated on the grid. and because they are quantumly entangled, her mother felt the shift. This happens consistently, repeatedly, in ways your current scientific paradigm cannot yet explain, but which your direct experience confirms. The mother wound reveals itself in patterns that appear unrelated, until you know what to seek. The woman who exhausts herself caring for everyone else, who cannot ask for help, who feels guilty resting. She likely had a loving mother who taught her that worthiness comes through service. This child learned early that love must be earned through perfect performance, through anticipating needs before they are spoken, through silencing her own requirements. Now, decades later, she wonders why her partner does not see her efforts, why she feels simultaneously indispensable and invisible. She believes this is her partner's failure, but the truth is more nuanced. She is unconsciously recreating the dynamic where love was conditional upon self-erasure, expecting her partner to finally give her what her inner child never received, permission to exist without proving her value through endless doing. Then there is the woman who married a man just like her father. The father she swore she would never replicate in her life. Her father was volatile, perhaps struggled with substances, created an atmosphere of walking on eggshells. As a child, she made a vow. I reject you. I will never be like you. But she watched her mother suffer in silence, and her young heart made another vow. I will help you carry this burden, mother. I will be strong enough for both of us. What she did not realize is that in merging with her mother's pain, in taking on her mother's survival strategy, she encoded the pattern. The unresolved wound between her parents became her inheritance, and she finds herself decades later living her mother's life, feeling her mother's exhaustion, married to her mother's struggle. This is not her father's wound manifesting, though it appears that way. This is the mother wound, the merging that happened when boundaries between self and mother had not yet formed. Some of you grew up with mothers who could not nurture because they themselves were never nurtured. Perhaps your grandmother raised your mother during wartime, during famine, during circumstances where survival took precedence over emotional attunement. Your mother arrived in the world already depleted, already coded with scarcity, already convinced that tenderness is a luxury the world does not permit. She did not know how to give you what she never received. This is not an excuse. It is an explanation, a tracing of the thread backward to find where the pattern originated. When you understand this, when you truly comprehend that your mother's capacity was shaped by forces beyond her control, something shifts. The blame dissolves, not into bypassing or spiritual perfectionism, but into clarity. You can finally see her as a soul on her own journey, carrying her own unbearable weight, doing the absolute best she could with the consciousness available to her. Here is what the Galactic Council wants you to know about fear. Those inexplicable terrors that make no logical sense. The sound of sirens that sends your nervous system into collapse when you have never experienced emergency. The fear of abandonment so profound it shapes every relationship decision. The dread of speaking your truth even when safety surrounds you. These are not irrational. These are ancestral instructions, survival data passed through your bloodline to keep you alive. Your great-grandmother heard sirens and ran to bomb shelters, convinced each wail signaled her death. Her epigenetics shifted. Her DNA encoded the message, sirens equal mortal danger. This information, designed to protect her lineage, transferred through generations. Now you hear a fire truck, and your body responds as if bombs are falling, even though your conscious mind knows you are safe. This is not dysfunction. This is your system trying to save you based on outdated information. The pathway to healing begins with a radical realization. You must stop trying to heal your mother. You cannot fix her, change her, make her finally see you the way you needed to be seen. That young part of you that still waits for her to transform, to apologize, to become someone she never was. This part must be met with extraordinary compassion, and then released. Your liberation does not require her participation. In fact, the most profound healing often occurs when you work in complete solitude, when you journey into your own subconscious terrain and meet the places where you merged with her pain, where you took on her burden, where you decided her healing was more important than your own wholeness. What happens in these shamanic depths is alchemy. You speak to the parts of yourself that are still waiting, still hoping, still convinced that if you just do more, achieve more, perfect yourself further, she will finally give you what you seek. You tell these parts the truth. She gave you everything she had. Her limitations were not personal. They were the result of her own wounding, her own ancestral inheritance, her own survival in a world that did not teach her self-love. When you truly grasp this, not intellectually, but in the cells of your body, the resentment transforms, not into forgiveness that bypasses accountability, but into clear-eyed understanding that frees you from the endless loop of seeking external validation for your worth. The Astasar Command has observed a phenomenon occurring with increasing frequency across your planet. Women primarily, though men are joining this wave, are waking up to their role as ancestral healers. This is not coincidental. The divine feminine principle, receptivity, intuition, emotional alchemy, is rising to balance the overextension of masculine force that has dominated your paradigm for millennia. You are here, incarnated at this precise moment in your planet's evolution, because you volunteered for this mission. Before you arrived, you knew it would be difficult. You knew you would carry wounds specifically designed to awaken you to this work. Every struggle, every relationship that mirrored your deepest pain, every moment you felt unseen, these were not punishments. These were the curriculum you signed up for. When one woman completes this healing journey, when she resolves the mother wound and establishes sovereignty over her own emotional landscape, she does not heal only herself. Remember the quantum entanglement, the grid of interconnected consciousness. Her children feel the shift even if she never speaks of her inner work. Her siblings experience inexplicable changes in their own patterns. Her mother, against all odds, softens in ways that seem miraculous. This is not magic in the way your culture trivializes that word. This is the mechanics of consciousness, the scientific reality that your actions, your thoughts, your emotional states, your vibrational frequency send measurable effects through the field of awareness that connects all beings. I have witnessed this repeatedly. A client estranged from her brother for years completes ancestral healing work. She tells no one. She does not reach out, does not manipulate, does not announce her process. 1 month later, her brother contacts her saying, "I do not know what you are doing, but I feel that you are healing, and it has inspired me to begin my own therapy." He could not articulate how he knew. He simply felt the shift in the quantum field they share, the thread of entanglement that binds siblings who emerged from the same ancestral line. This is happening everywhere now, accelerating as more of you awaken to this truth. But let me address the shadow side of this work, because spiritual bypassing serves no one. Some of you have turned healing into another form of perfectionism, another way to prove your worth, another endless task that confirms you are broken and in need of fixing. This is the mother wound wearing a spiritual mask. If you find yourself thinking that healing is a destination you must reach, that there exists some future version of yourself who will finally be complete enough, worthy enough, healed enough, pause, this is the trap. You are whole now. The healing journey is not about becoming someone different. It is about peeling away the layers of conditioning, the inherited beliefs, the survival mechanisms that once served you but now constrain you, to reveal the luminous being you have always been. Your incarnation path is unique. What heals one soul may not heal another. Some of you will find liberation through plant medicine ceremonies. Others will heal through talk therapy, through body work, through artistic expression, through falling in love, through heartbreak, through raising children, through choosing not to have children. There is no hierarchy in healing modalities. The pharmaceutical that saves one life might harm another. The meditation practice that opens one heart might bore another to tears. Your task is not to find the right way, as if one exists. Your task is to stay curious, to follow the threads of what calls to you, to trust the intelligence of your own system. The 3 levels of healing must be addressed for true transformation to occur. First, the physical body, this dense, miraculous vessel that carries you through Earth's dimension. It requires specific care, perhaps plant medicine, perhaps conventional treatment, perhaps rest, perhaps movement. Second, the emotional landscape, the terrain of feeling, of grief, of rage, of joy, of all the energies you were taught to suppress. This layer demands witnessing, expression, the courage to feel what you have spent lifetimes avoiding. Third, the spiritual dimension. The soul contracts, the karmic patterns, the ancestral imprints, the cosmic reason you chose this particular configuration of challenges. All 3 must be honored for complete healing to anchor. What I am about to tell you may feel impossible, yet I have witnessed it countless times. You do not need to believe in this work for it to transform you. The woman who insists she had a perfect childhood, who cannot fathom that her mother wound exists, often experiences the most dramatic shifts the moment she allows herself to look honestly at her patterns, the people-pleasing, the inability to rest, the conviction that love must be earned. She begins to see the invisible threads connecting her present struggles to her childhood conditioning. This seeing is itself healing. Awareness dissolves what resistance maintains. During my time in the space between worlds, I was shown that Earth is entering a phase of accelerated evolution. The timeline has collapsed. What once required multiple lifetimes to resolve can now be healed in years, months, sometimes moments. This is why you are feeling the intensity, the pressure, the sense that everything is moving faster than you can process. It is. The cosmos is supporting this acceleration because your planet stands at a crossroads. The old paradigm, domination, separation, exploitation, is collapsing. The new paradigm, collaboration, unity, regeneration, is being born through you, through your willingness to heal what your ancestors could not. Some of you are asking, what about those who refuse to heal, who remain unconscious, who perpetuate harm? Here is what the Astasar command wants you to understand. There is no split coming where the enlightened ascend and leave others behind. That is a distortion, a fear-based narrative that contradicts the fundamental nature of interconnection. You are already healing them. Every time you choose consciousness over unconsciousness, every time you break a generational pattern, every time you speak a truth that your ancestors could not voice, you lift the frequency of the entire grid. Those who appear to be resisting are actually being carried by the collective field you are generating through your work. This does not mean everyone will awaken at the same pace. Soul evolution unfolds according to each being's unique timeline. Some incarnated to experience density longer. Some came to be the ones who bridge worlds. Some arrived to be the pioneers, the way showers, the ones who go first into the unknown so others can follow a marked path. There is no hierarchy in these roles. The soul learning through struggle is not inferior to the soul learning through ease. All experiences contribute to the expansion of universal consciousness. What then is your task as a starseed, as a member of the galactic family who volunteered for Earth assignment? Your task is exquisitely simple and monumentally challenging. Heal yourself. That is all. Not your mother, not your partner, not your children, not your world. Yourself. When you genuinely commit to this, when you stop performing healing as a way to earn love and start engaging healing as an act of self-devotion, everything shifts. The people around you begin to transform, not because you manipulated them, but because you stopped participating in the unconscious patterns that required their dysfunction to continue. I want to speak directly to the part of you that is exhausted, the part that has been trying so hard for so long to be good enough, to finally get it right, to become the version of yourself that will make everything okay. That part of you deserves to hear this. You are not broken. You never were. The struggles, the wounds, the patterns, these are not evidence of your failure. These are the sacred assignments you chose before incarnation, the specific curriculum designed to catalyze your soul's evolution and contribute to the collective awakening. You are right on time. You are exactly where you need to be. The mother wound is the gateway, but it is not the destination. Once you understand how your relationship with the feminine principle, receptivity, intuition, emotional wisdom, nurturing was shaped by your earliest bond, you gain the master key to unlock every other pattern. The father wound, the sibling wounds, the wounds from lovers and friends and society, all of these become comprehensible when you trace them back to the original template. This is why we begin with the mother, not because she is to blame, but because she was your first mirror, your first teacher of what love looks like, what safety feels like, what you must do to belong. Some of you are carrying inexplicable physical ailments that defy conventional diagnosis. Your doctors find nothing wrong, yet your body screams in pain, in fatigue, in mysterious symptoms that migrate and shift. Before you despair, consider this. You may be carrying somatic memories from your ancestral line. Your great-grandfather's war trauma, your grandmother's starvation during famine, your mother's suppressed rage. The body keeps the score across generations. These symptoms are not in your head. They are in your cells, waiting for you to develop the consciousness to meet them, to acknowledge them, to finally release what was never yours to carry. The healing ceremony that works most potently is the one that occurs in silence, in the depths of your own being, where no one can witness or applaud or validate your effort. This is where the real transformation happens, not in the public declaration of healing, not in the social media post about your breakthrough, but in the quiet moment when you meet a part of yourself you have been avoiding for lifetimes, and you stay present with it anyway. You do not try to fix it, transcend it, or spiritualize it away. You simply allow it to be seen, to be held, to be integrated back into your wholeness. What the Galactic Federation observes with great interest is the feminine uprising occurring across your planet. This is not about gender in the limited biological sense. This is about the return of balanced consciousness, the integration of qualities your culture has devalued: emotion, intuition, cyclical wisdom, collaborative power. For too long, the aggressive masculine principle has dominated, creating systems built on competition, hierarchy, extraction. These systems are crumbling because they were never sustainable. The feminine principle is not here to destroy the masculine, but to partner with it, to create something entirely new that honors both force and flow, doing and being, analysis and intuition. Many of you women have incarnated specifically to anchor this frequency. You are the grandmothers, the healers, the bridge builders. You carry in your DNA the memory of when this balance existed, of matriarchal societies that honored the earth, of cultures that made decisions based on impact 7 generations forward. This memory is awakening now, not as nostalgia for a lost past, but as a template for the future you are birthing. Your willingness to heal your mother wound is not personal work. It is planetary service. Every woman who reclaims her voice, who establishes boundaries, who refuses to diminish herself, she becomes a beacon for all women still trapped in silence. And to the men who are engaging this work, who are brave enough to examine their relationship with the feminine both externally and internally, you are equally essential. The healing of the mother wound in men often looks different. It may manifest as difficulty with emotional intimacy, as the compulsion to fix rather than listen, as the terror of vulnerability. Your mothers may have loved you desperately while unconsciously teaching you that feelings are weakness, that independence is paramount, that asking for help is failure. Unraveling these teachings requires immense courage in a culture that still equates masculinity with emotional stoicism. Let me return to the question many of you are holding. How do I know if I have a mother wound? The answer is simple and universal. If you incarnated on Earth through a human birth, you have a mother wound. This is not pathology. This is the nature of the human experience. No mother, regardless of her love and dedication, can perfectly attune to her child's needs every moment. No mother exists outside the conditioning of her culture, her era, her own wounding. The mother wound is not about blame or fault. It is about understanding the transmission of patterns, and then consciously choosing which patterns to continue and which to release. The signs appear in your intimate relationships: the inability to receive love, even when it is offered, the compulsion to overgive until resentment builds, the pattern of choosing partners who cannot see you. They appear in your relationship with your body, the harsh self-criticism, the perfectionism, the sense that you must earn the right to take up space. They appear in your creative expression, the fear of being visible, the conviction that your voice does not matter, the endless preparation that prevents you from ever beginning. They appear in your relationship with rest, the guilt when you are not productive, the inability to simply be without doing, the voice that says you have not done enough to deserve ease. These patterns are not character flaws. They are adaptations, survival strategies that served you once, and now limit you. When you were young and dependent on your mother for survival, it made perfect sense to shape yourself into whatever version of you kept her love flowing. If she needed you quiet, you became quiet. If she needed you perfect, you became perfect. If she needed you to carry her emotional burden, you became the parentified child. These adaptations were brilliant solutions to an impossible situation: how to get your needs met when the person responsible for meeting them was herself wounded and limited. But now you are an adult. Now you have resources, choices, agency that you did not have as a child. The old adaptations, instead of protecting you, are constraining you. This is the invitation: to consciously examine which patterns you inherited, to thank them for their service, and to choose differently, not from a place of self-improvement or becoming better, but from a place of alignment with your true nature, the self that existed before conditioning, the luminous being who knew their worth before the world taught them to doubt it. The shamanic journey into ancestral healing is not linear. You will descend into memory, into the places where you split off parts of yourself to survive, where you made vows and promises that no longer serve. You will meet your mother as she truly is, not the idealized or demonized version, but the complex, wounded, beautiful human doing her best with what she had. You will meet yourself at various ages, the child who made decisions about reality based on limited information, who concluded things about their worth that were never true. In these depths, you will encounter emotions that feel too large to survive. Grief for the childhood you did not have, rage at the injustices that shaped you, terror at the vulnerability of being truly seen. The work is to stay present anyway, to allow these energies to move through you without becoming consumed by them. This is the difference between re-traumatization and integration. You are not reliving the past to wallow in it. You are witnessing it with the consciousness you have now, offering yourself the compassion and understanding that was missing then. Destiny Engine can help you heal the mother wound by working at the level where the wound was originally formed, which is the subconscious and nervous system rather than the intellect. Most people attempt to heal the mother wound by analyzing it, reframing it, or talking about it, but these approaches often leave the original emotional imprint unchanged. Destiny Engine bypasses intellectual processing and guides the mind into a receptive state where emotional memory, meaning, and self-beliefs can be safely accessed and updated. The system generates personalized audio sequences combined with your own voice that gently lower mental defenses and allow suppressed memories and emotional conclusions to surface without force. In this state, individuals are able to encounter earlier versions of themselves at the moments where beliefs about worth, safety, and love were formed. These encounters make it possible to recognize how those beliefs originated and to release conclusions that were made under emotional stress or misunderstanding. Because Destiny Engine works through real-time subconscious reprogramming, healing does not depend on prolonged effort or repeated analysis. The integration occurs during the listening experience itself, as the brain and emotional system align with new information. Over time, this results in greater emotional stability, clearer self-worth, and healthier attachment patterns without forcing forgiveness or bypassing unresolved pain. Destiny Engine makes this process accessible immediately through a low-barrier trial that requires only focused listening with headphones. The purpose is not to delay healing, but to allow it to occur in the present moment, where integration is possible. You can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to descend into memory in this very moment, rather than postponing this healing someday. The integration you seek is available now, not someday. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial now, before this healing window closes. Link in the description. Something miraculous occurs when you complete this process authentically. The energy that was bound up in maintaining the old pattern becomes available. Suddenly you have access to creativity, to vitality, to capacities you did not know you possessed. The chronic fatigue lifts, the anxiety diminishes, the relationships begin to shift. Not because you manipulated them into changing, but because you are no longer unconsciously recreating the original wound, no longer seeking from others what you needed to give yourself. This is the moment when the quantum entanglement reveals its full power. Your mother, though you have not spoken to her about your inner work, begins to soften. She reaches out in ways she never has before, or perhaps she does not change externally, but your experience of her transforms completely. You can finally see her with compassion, can hold space for her humanity without needing her to be different. The charge dissolves, the resentment evaporates. What remains is a clear-eyed love that does not require her to be anyone other than who she is. And sometimes the miracle is that she actually does shift. Clients report to me consistently. My mother, with whom I have had the same argument for 30 years, suddenly stopped. She apologized for something I had long given up, hoping she would acknowledge. She became interested in my life, in a way she never was before. How does this happen? Through the quantum field, through the grid of consciousness, through through the reality that when you change the vibration at your node on the net, everyone entangled with you feels the ripple effect. You cannot control how they respond to this shift, but you can trust that the shift will register. There are those among you who will read these words and feel nothing but skepticism. This is perfect. Doubt is not the enemy of transformation. Often those who resist most fiercely are the ones closest to breakthrough. Your rational mind, trained by a culture that values only what can be measured and controlled, is trying to protect you from what it perceives as danger. The unknown, the mystical, the possibility that reality is far more interconnected than you were taught. These ideas threaten the worldview you have built your safety upon. The proof will not come from me. The proof will come from your direct experience. When you engage this work sincerely, when you allow yourself to explore these territories with curiosity rather than judgment, the results speak for themselves. The relationship that was stuck for years suddenly moves. The physical symptom that defied treatment begins to heal. The creative block dissolves. The sense of being alone in the world transforms into the felt experience of being part of an infinite web of connection. I want to address those of you who are thinking, but I really did have a terrible mother. She was neglectful, abusive, absent. How can I possibly heal this without minimizing what happened? This is crucial. Healing the mother wound does not mean pretending the harm did not occur. It does not mean forcing forgiveness before you are ready. It does not mean bypassing your anger or grief with spiritual platitudes about her doing her best. What it means is this: understanding the conditions that created her limitations so that you can finally stop taking her behavior personally. When you recognize that she was wounded by her own mother, who was wounded by her mother before her, stretching back through generations of women who were never taught to value themselves, who were never given permission to have needs, who survived by becoming small and silent. When you truly see this lineage, it does not erase what happened to you, but it contextualizes it. It allows you to see that what felt like a personal rejection was actually the playing out of a pattern much larger than either of you. This seeing creates space for a different kind of healing. You can acknowledge the harm while simultaneously releasing the story that her inability to love you well means you are unlovable. You can set boundaries. You can choose to limit contact or end the relationship entirely, while carrying compassion for the wounded child she once was. These are not contradictory positions. This is the nuanced, mature spirituality that Earth is being called into now, not the bypassing that pretends everything is love and light, but the integrated consciousness that can hold both the pain and the possibility simultaneously. There is no hierarchy in these roles, no path that is more spiritual or more valuable than another. The mother who commits to healing her wounds so she does not pass them to her children is doing work as sacred as any guru. The artist who transforms personal pain into beauty that touches millions is no more important than the accountant who brings consciousness to their interactions with colleagues. The measure of your spiritual evolution is not your title or your following or your external accomplishments. It is the quality of presence you bring to each moment, the honesty with which you meet yourself, the willingness to choose love over fear, even when fear has been your companion for so long that it feels like identity. I have shown you the grid, the quantum entanglement, the scientific validation for what mystics have always known. Separation is an illusion. What remains is the embodiment. Knowledge without integration is just another form of spiritual bypassing. You can understand intellectually that you are connected to all beings, but until you feel it in your body, until you experience the dissolution of the boundary between self and other, the knowing remains theoretical. This embodiment comes through practice, through showing up day after day to meet yourself with honesty and compassion. It comes through the micro moments when you choose differently than your conditioning would dictate. It comes through the courage to feel what you have spent your life avoiding. It comes through the humility to admit when you do not know, when you are lost, when you need help. It comes through the strength to keep going even when nothing seems to be changing, trusting the process even when the results are not visible. And then, in a moment you cannot predict or control, everything shifts. The healing that has been occurring beneath the surface of your awareness suddenly breaks through into consciousness. You realize you just navigated a situation that would have triggered you completely 6 months ago, and you remained present, grounded, able to respond rather than react. You notice the critical voice in your head has quieted, replaced by something softer, more supportive. You catch yourself in the mirror, and instead of the usual litany of flaws, you see a being worthy of love exactly as they are. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. We love you beyond measure, we witness your courage with awe, and we are watching over you as you navigate this sacred transformation. You are never alone, you are always held, and you are so deeply loved.